think, especially in the realm or in any discussions about Indigenous homelessness, I think we need to remember that it's an ongoing process that we need to stay and remain committed to. I also think we need to remember at any stage of our career, in our education, in our personal, professional, academic lives, that we need to remain respectful of the various communities that exist. Also be mindful that there are unique lived experiences, and also being mindful that um, in order to properly, or in order to address these issues, or the concerns that exist, we need to have proper and respectful engagement. Engagement, I believe, is one of the key components that we cannot leave out. Without engaging our communities with lived experiences, without engaging our Indigenous communities, both on and off reserve, without engaging those who are both inside and outside of the sector, and engaging in that meaningful conversations, we can't achieve what we have to or what we need to achieve. I think it's through discussions and through open and vulnerable discussions that we are able to expose truths, that we're able to recognize where the systems are failing, where individuals need to step up, or where others need to have an opportunity to use their voice. And I think a lot of the times, whether it's in academia or in nonprofit or in governmental realms, that we silo, and we need to instead collaborate and bring communities together to have that ongoing, meaningful conversation.
Yeah, and I think that your position currently doing a postdoctoral fellowship in Indigenous homelessness, and particularly with the Canadian Observatory on Homelessness, is a great intersection or a great opportunity to be able to do some of that work and to be able to work with communities. I wonder if you can speak a bit about the work that you're doing with the Canadian Observatory.
Of course. So I have had the pleasure of working with an incredible Indigenous advisory circle who have helped lead us in ceremony and guide us in developing, creating a literature review on behalf of the Assembly of First Nations. So on behalf of the AFN, or the Assembly of First Nations, we have searched as much as possible of the existing research on Indigenous homelessness. We then narrowed down the scope to focus specifically on First Nations homelessness and looked at various themes that were present in the literature. So we ended up creating a report that looks at the definition of home and homelessness from a First Nations perspective. Then we shift into experiences of First Nations homelessness based on things like gender, based on age, based on location, so urban versus rural experiences of homelessness. Then we also shift into approaches to homelessness, so looking at things like housing first approach, looking at culturally specific approaches to homelessness, and then end the report by looking at recommendations. So specifically in this report, we look at recommendations put forward by the Assembly of First Nations, and then bring in the truth and reconciliation and the ways that we can start to bring different components of various recommendations to hopefully go on that path forward towards ending Indigenous homelessness.